I mean, I think having the teams from the two states here for the last day and a half have been really beneficial. I think one, because they can get some time away from the busyness of and the demands of the school to stop and really think about what are some ways that they want to engage families authentically. The other benefit has been interacting and kind of networking with other teams from other schools, even if it's in other states, to see what's working for one school. Maybe that's an idea that they could use for themselves when they get back to their home school, to think about, what are some easy fixes or maybe some different initiatives that they could put in place to start to think about this crucial element of engaging families. It's a little bit more difficult in secondary education. Somebody mentioned that as well in our conversation, that as kids get older, parents seem to be less involved, and these teams are secondary high school teams. So I think being able to feel like it is possible and it can happen and it does happen, and here are ways that we can work together to ensure that success in our school.
So in my presentation, I focused on some practical strategies that have worked in other places to really foster and support family engagement in the school context, and especially in the context of kids in school who maybe are struggling with behaviors and are struggling with behavioral health needs. Before I got to the practical strategies, we spent a little bit of time thinking about why. Why is family engagement important? And I really wanted to do that why, because the how can be hard, and it really takes a commitment of time and sometimes a commitment of resources, and certainly a commitment of attitude and perspective about kids and families in order to do the family engagement well. So we spent some time thinking about why, and one of the things we thought about was, what information do families have about children that's really helpful to people who are working with those young people in the school setting? And we brainstormed, you as a parent or you as a young person, what information would your family have that you could provide to a school that would be helpful for the school to know? And that's something that everybody can do, because even if you're not a parent, you've been a kid. And so people came up with a long list of kinds of information that families have about their young people that would be really helpful for schools to know. Things like, my child doesn't sleep well at night, so he's coming to school exhausted, or my child has tried 3 medications and they have not gone well, and this is why. Or my child is on medication, but it causes him not to eat during the day, so actually he doesn't have the fuel he needs to get through his day well. Things like, my child's very anxious, or my child doesn't respond well to being yelled at. Family dynamics, information that families have about what's going on with their family dynamics, or traumas that young people have experienced in the past. And the people in the meeting came up with a long list of different kinds of information that families have about students, and information that would be really helpful for them in working with those students. So that's one of the whys.